Good morning, friends. It is a rainy Thursday, but that's okay. We are going to take a break from force in motion this week due to the fact that it is or was Earth Day yesterday. So we're going to talk about recycling today. And I have a pretty cool video to show you. And then we'll do an activity and kind of a scavenger hunt around our home. So let's go ahead and get started with the video. This is a great video for recycling.
We all love living in beautiful Longmont, Colorado. It's rich with environmental resources, including 2,500 acres of open space, diverse wildlife and habitat, and pristine Rocky Mountain water. Longmont's sustainability vision calls for the stewardship of these resources. Less waste overall, and diverting as much of it as possible from landfills. Turns out 90% of what we throw away could have been recycled or composted. Let's change that. Instead of using something once and then burying it into the ground, we can send it to the right spot so it can be made into something new. Think of it as a loop instead of a one-way street. Let's talk about how to properly sort your trash into 3 categories. It really matters what you throw where, since the contents of each bin go to 3 completely separate facilities. Let's sort it out, starting with recyclables. There are a lot of familiar items that can go into the recycling bin. We're going to give you a second to take that all in. Many people know that styrofoam is a recycling no-no, but so are plastic bags, plastic wrap, plastic utensils, and gloves. The number one thing to know, numbers on plastics and the recycling symbol don't matter. What matters more is the shape of the object. These bottles, tubs, jugs, and jars are all recyclable. The numbers are for the manufacturers. Something is only recyclable if it can be made into something new. Think a plastic bag sent to the wrong spot is no big deal? Think again. At least twice a day, jam bags have to be removed from the recycling center equipment. The second biggest problem item, coffee cups and lids. These cannot be recycled. Other confusing items include plastic lids. Be sure to leave them on. Berry containers, wax-coated drink boxes, bound notebooks, and staples are all okay. Give your food containers a rinse and ball up foil, but resist the urge to crush cans and other items, which confuses sorting machines. We like to say that if it was alive in your lifetime, it can be composted. So that means all food waste, including meat, bones, and dairy. The heat at our compost site has the power to break down a pile of baby back rib bones and the massive dirty napkins that piled up while you ate them. But plastic is another story. Keep anything plastic or plastic lined, like to-go boxes, out of the compost. Don't be conned by these faux compost items labeled biodegradable, organic, or natural. Your item must say BPI, certified compostable. When in doubt, look for the BPI logo. Contaminated paper products with food on them that would normally be recycled, like last night's pizza box, should now be composted. Last, and we hope to be least filled, landfill. Landfills are designed to keep out air, water, and sunlight while the trash sits there without breaking down for a long, long time. Only a fraction of what you throw away should end up in this dark, sad mountain of methane-releasing waste. For chip bags, squeeze tubes, styrofoam, anything plastic lined, dog poop, candy wrappers, these all go to the landfill. The recycling bin is for paper and containers, but keep out plastic bags, plastic coated paper like to-go boxes, and coffee cups. Things like paper towels and tissues can join your food and yard waste in the compost. But again, please keep plastic out.
All right, so I felt like that was a very helpful video, even though it might not be specific to Ohio. There are a couple of things that I want to make note of that she talked about. She talked about coffee cups and containers and things not being compostable unless they, say specifically that they are. However, that doesn't necessarily mean that they can't be recycled. Not all to-go boxes and coffee cups and things are recyclable. However, I have been to restaurants and including places at the Cincinnati Zoo where even they go even as far as the silverware, the plastic silverware being recyclable because they're made from materials that were previously recycled. So there are times where it's possible to recycle things that you wouldn't normally think to recycle. Just make sure that you're looking on the object and making sure that it says, you know, that it's recyclable before you put it in there. And I think there was something else that she mentioned that I wanted to say something about. The dog doo-doo, that can't be composted because actually many types of animal doo-doo is actually bad for gardens and plants. And the purpose of compost she didn't really go into. For those of you that don't know, compost is kind of like making your own fertilizer or making your own like mulch for your personal garden. So, you know, it needs to be items that can decompose or break down over time that are going to be good for the plants that you are growing. If I remember anything else that I wanted to say from the video, I will, you know, randomly bring it up during our activity. But if you are able to print materials at home, this activity I am going to include in the link, as well as on GroupMe and email when I send this activity out. It would be really beneficial if you can print it out. However, if you can't print it out or you don't want to waste paper and you just want to watch me do it and work with me, that is perfectly fine. Let's kind of recap. Paper items can be anything from toilet paper, recyclable paper towels, newspaper, cardboard boxes, you know, crumpled up old homework, magazines. Glass items can be glass bottles. No, I mean, I don't think you guys have any test tubes or beakers laying around your home, but definitely would want to make sure that you rinse and clean those out really good before you recycle them. Any other kind of glassware that, you know, specifically says that you can recycle it. Plastic items, water bottles, shampoo bottles, mouthwash, dish soap, and milk cartons are all examples of plastic items. Metal items could be like a can of beans or, you know, I'm guessing that's supposed to be a spoon. Not sure what else it could be. You know, a can of pop. I would not recommend that you recycle a nail or a chain because you don't want people at the recycling plant to get poked. And if these items are rusty, that's not healthy either for the people working with these materials. So I disagree with that, but. And then compost. I cannot wait until I can have my very own outdoor garden and start my own composting. I had a good friend who used to live close to us that had their own garden and compost. So I would bring materials that were compostable to her so that they could, you know, be more useful and helpful. And it just feels so strange not being able to do that anymore. It feels so strange throwing away things like banana peels and apple cores and carrot shavings, things like that. It just feels so weird. It feels so wasteful. So if you have the opportunity to compost or donate items like this to someone who does compost, highly recommend. It's very fulfilling. What we're going to do is we're going to sort, and I'm going to try to figure out how to do this with the computer. We're going to sort different materials via cards. So it's kind of like a playing card game. if you do want to print these out, you have siblings, you know, you're at home with your grandparents, a babysitter, mom, dad, then you can even turn this into a game. Maybe everybody gets 7 cards and you take turns sorting. I'm gonna shuffle these a little bit. I am not the best shuffler though. I'll be the first to admit it. We have plastic, we have glass, paper, compost, and metal. Where do you think this object should go? Crumpled up piece of homework. This is gonna go under paper. It is recyclable. Where would I put a shampoo bottle? Now, it depends what kind of shampoo you have. If you have a glass bottle of shampoo at home, definitely you would want to rinse it out first. Same with plastic before you recycle it. Mrs. Keller has plastic shampoo bottles, so that's where I'm going to sort the shampoo bottle. All right. Say you're making a nice stew. You peel off the dirty parts of the carrot. Where can you put those dirty scraps? Can you recycle them? Can you reuse them somehow? You can compost them. All right. Where would this bottle of mouthwash go? I don't know of any glass mouthwash bottles. I'm sure it's possible. Usually these are made out of plastic. All right. What about a can of fruit or vegetables? It's going to go under metal. What about an old rotting lemon or lime or orange? I think it's a lemon. Where would you put this? You can use it to be composted. What I also liked in the video that was shown is they showed that you can put your tea bags, like the tea inside of the tea bags. I wouldn't recommend putting the whole tea bag, paper and all, into your compost. That's actually gonna be really rich for your soil that you're in, the fertilizer that you're making. That's a great thing to add to compost. Coffee grounds too, use coffee grounds, that's great. All right, I keep getting lots of plastic. I don't want this to be too easy on you. I want to challenge you a little bit. Where would this Coke can go? Gonna go in metal. Do you remember what she said in the video? This actually surprised me. If you're going to recycle it in like your Rumpke recycling can, they actually prefer if you don't smash it down. However, for example, I have a family member who actually, like, I'm trying to think of how to word it. I'm sure that everybody kind of knows someone who does this, but he like returns the cans to a company and actually makes a little bit of money off of it. Those companies actually usually prefer if you crush the cans before you bring them in. So just make sure that you know where your cans are going and how they would prefer you to send them. Here's that lovely picture that I am assuming is a spoon. Where would you put a clean, non-rusty spoon? Metal. Also, if this is just any old takeout plastic spoon, Would you be able to recycle it? Especially if it had food particles on it. No. Be trash. What if this was silverware that came from like some kind of organic restaurant or the Cincinnati Zoo, and it said on it, this is recyclable, this is biodegradable. What could you do with it? Then you could recycle it. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and say what the poster said this was, which is a metal spoon. All right, these are so good for the soil, not to spoil anything or anything, but where would this banana peel go? Full of potassium. Compost, that makes your soil so rich and full of nutrients. Where can you put your old magazines? Mrs. Keller used to always get highlight magazines. My grandmother got me a subscription. I doubt any of my second graders are receiving Time magazines, but any kind of magazine that you get, what can you do with it? Recycle it. Paper. What about this glass root beer bottle or ketchup bottle? Where could you put this? In the lonely glass recycling. What about, I remember what else I was going to say from the video. See, I told you I would randomly bring them up. Where would you put a cardboard box? Paper. Cardboard is a type of paper. Now, what I wanted to mention from the video is takeout boxes. You have to be careful because a lot of times takeout boxes are lined with plastic to prevent your food from seeping through the takeout box. Again, there are restaurants that have recyclable takeout boxes, or even sometimes biodegradable that can be composted. However, it's not common. Also, if there's food particles all inside of the takeout container, it's not going to be good to recycle. In fact, if it goes to the recycling plant and it's just completely soaked with soy sauce or whatever it is that you got, they're going to have to take it out and throw it away and sort it again. So even though your intentions might be good, just make sure that you're fully aware that you're, properly cleaning items that can be recycled. And if it's just beyond, fixing, then unfortunately it does have to go in the trash. What about, I'm trying to find something different. That's what makes me laugh. Where would the beaker go? After you clean out that mysterious solution, you could recycle it with glassware. Another thing you need to be careful about, glassware, make sure it's not broken. Don't put shattered glass in recycling. That's, again, like the nail, just not a good idea. That's dangerous. Make sure that your glass is not chipped or broken or shattered if you're going to recycle it. If it is shattered, broken, or anything like that, do not throw it away either. That's also not safe for, people that deal with trash, who are important too. There are ways that you can dispose of them safely that you can look up online. I do have more, however, I thought we can move on to some real items, and this is where your scavenger hunt around your home can happen. We're gonna sort some items that Mrs. Keller found around the house into these categories. If you don't have a printer at home or don't want to print the categories, it would be very easy and simple for you to just write on scratch paper: paper, glass, plastic, compost, metal. You can even make one that says trash. That would be a great addition. Without further ado, let's say that I finished making some chili. What can I do with my can of beans? My empty can of beans. First, I'm gonna need to wash it out, make sure there's no food residue inside, make sure that the lid has been, taken off properly so there's no serrated edges. We can put that in metal recycling. What can I do with this old Cincinnati Playhouse advertisement? It's made out of paper. We can recycle that with paper. There's nothing really to clean on it either. What about all these scraps? And Mrs. Keller cut the playing cards out from. That can also be recycled. Look at all these things that are already not going in the trash and filling up the landfill. What can I do with a rotting apple or an apple core, or if you like to eat your apples peeled, what can I do with those peels? What can I do with the remnants of this apple when I'm done eating it, or after it's past the point of being able to eat it? Be a great item to compost. What about, of course, after this has been cleaned out with soap and water, what can I do once this jar of preserves is empty? The bottle is glass. The lid, not to trick you, is metal. So the lid can be recycled with the other metal items. And the jar can be recycled with the glass items. What can I do with an empty can of lemonade? Again, I'm going to want to rinse it out so all the sugar and things are out. Then I'm going to make sure I'm not crushing it unless I'm taking it somewhere where they prefer you to crush it. And I can put it with the metal recyclables. Last thing I have here to sort. Unfortunately, I didn't have any plastic laying around. I feel like that's good though. Plastic really doesn't decompose quickly at all. It actually takes a lot more energy to recycle it and turn it into something new as well. But what about this cardboard box? Now it doesn't have any food particles spilt inside, just a cardboard box. I can break it down more so that it's smaller, taking up less room, and put it in the paper recycling. Now the only other thing that I wanted to talk about that actually is surprisingly recyclable, but you have to do it right, are crayons, old crayons, even if they're all broken up, even if they're shavings, crayons and markers. Crayons and markers can actually be sent to the Crayola company, and they will do whatever magic it is that they do, and they will turn your old crayons and your old markers and reuse them, recycle them into new markers and crayons, which is awesome. And being a teacher and being someone who's very into art, I have so many markers and crayons, and I used to throw them away because I didn't know what else to do when they were beyond use anymore. And it's really cool to discover that you actually don't need to throw this plastic that's not gonna break down for many, many years. And crayons that have toxic wax and things, you can actually recycle it. And they can be turned into new crayons, new markers. I think that's really interesting. So that's what I have for you today. I challenge you to either have your babysitter, mom, grandma, grandpa, dad, brother, sister, cousin, whoever you live with. I challenge you to sort these cards if you're able to, like a game. I challenge you to try to find something from every category: plastic, glass, paper, compost, metal, maybe even trash, and sort those as well. Maybe you can have like a timed scavenger hunt with your family members. I would love if you wanted to share some pictures of what you come up with me. However, the most important thing is that you just, at the very least, watch this video. I would love for you to apply what you've learned to things laying around your house. I hope this was helpful to you. Hope you enjoyed this. And hopefully it stops raining so that we can do our Crafty Friday project that I had planned for tomorrow. If not, I'll come up with something different. It's fine. I can't wait to see you at our Zoom meeting tomorrow. Marvelous Miss Mighty, I don't know why I did that. Mighty Miss Malone will be posted tonight at 5. We'll be on chapter 17. Haven't heard back from IT still. So my assumption is going to be that all this is going to need to be sent via GroupMe and email again. I promise you I'm doing all that I can do to get the Google Classroom issue resolved. And I'm so sorry that this has gone on just about all weeks, but it happens sometimes. Thanks for hanging in there with me, and I hope you have a great day. Bye. Love ya.